to break it to you, but you're about to crash and burn with your workload and juggling life outside of teaching. If you're struggling to lose weight and build sustainable habits that don't feel completely overwhelming, and you hate the idea of spending hours sweating buckets on the cardio machines, and if you're sick of eating breakfast, lunches and dinners that are bland and tasteless that doesn't end up satisfying you, then good news, you're in the right place. Give me a few minutes and I'll show you how you can build the mind and body of your dreams and create sustainable habits that are realistic for busy female teachers. Where other teachers ask you in the staff room, how do you do it all? How do I know this? Well, if you're new here, my name is Catherine Flack, and in 2022, I burnt myself out by saying yes to everything, the marking, the meetings, the endless list, and not putting myself first. I was spending all my money on processed foods from the canteen, meal deals during lunchtime clubs and duties, and after school activities. I loved teaching, but was so drained at feeling constantly exhausted, and hated not having the energy for my own time when I got home after the school day. You see, the teacher advice I followed was always say yes and always do more. More marking, more meetings, more clubs. And there was a moment where I realised I wasn't even spending time with my family and friends when some of them needed me the most. I landed my dream job, but I felt stuck in a constant cycle of teacher tiredness. And it had to change. I built my lifestyle around the school values rather than my own values. My days were spent caffeinated up to my eyeballs, skipping lunches and having a short temper when managing students. That's not why I got into teaching. I wanted to help my students whilst having the energy to do the shit that I love with the people I love outside of the classroom. Now I'm leaving teaching behind and building a coaching business specifically for female teachers without sacrificing social events, without spending hours in the gym, without eating dry salads, and more importantly, giving myself a few hours per week to prioritise my time. And I'm helping other female teachers to do it too. Like Jess and Emma, who have lost body fat, have more energy and have more time in the evenings within a few days of working with me. Or Charlotte, who has completely transformed her body and mindset with me and already nailed her meal prep routine with habits that stick. You've probably noticed this, right? More and more schools are building more systems, cutting staff and stretching job roles. The problem is teachers' hard work isn't being recognised. The demands to create lesson plans, incorporate an inclusive environment and plan for all needs in the classroom is becoming more and more stressful to evidence. I've been teaching for 10 years and have noticed the increase of workload, the tasks that are a tick list rather than them being more productive and help the students progress. I noticed more tension in the staff room and more unhappy teachers. There was less of a community. Now your lunchtimes are spent alone, catching up on marking and feeling isolated from everyone else. It's become the new normal to shut yourself away in your classroom and only communicate with other teachers when pacing down the corridor with an endless task list in your mind. In comes the Strong Teachers Society, using the sustainable PASTEL Wellness Wheel. This is how I'm creating perfect programs and routines for female teachers that fit around their everyday lives and moving them through my carefully designed PASTEL Wellness Wheel to build the mind and body that they've always wanted. Let me give you some context here. I spent my degree studying musical theatre and then got my PGC in performing arts, so it made sense when I qualified to become a teacher. I started teaching, specifically teaching drama, and enjoyed a full-time job which I enjoyed and felt fulfilled. I then wanted to teach abroad, so I quit my job and wanted to move to Australia. After COVID hit, I couldn't travel and I'd lost my job. So I made the most of being stuck in the UK. I loved psychology, health and fitness, so I studied for my masters and also qualified as a personal trainer. I was working as a PE teacher and studying towards my masters, PTing and working well into the evenings. I had my head down and kept very, very busy, but then everything changed. I came up with the idea of PASTEL and I wanted to make this idea a reality, but I didn't know how. I also wanted to experience teaching abroad, so I applied to work in Oman and moved to the Middle East to teach drama and became head of department. I then put PASTEL into action and started coaching females. The ladies were getting incredible results and I loved coaching them, but something wasn't clicking. And it was because I wasn't able to relate to their everyday lives. Fast forward a couple of years and my online coaching business, PASTEL Wellness, has grown and is continuing to develop whilst helping as many female teachers from all over the world build the physique and mindset they have always wanted. I now only work with female teachers as I know the uncertainty of their everyday work environments, how things can change quickly and how we have to manage things out of their control. The stresses of the workload, the busy periods like parents' evenings and open evenings, the list goes on. Everything changed for me when I developed my own app built specifically for female teachers. I use a daily habit tracker and one-to-one in-depth weekly check-ins to enable sustainable habits that last long-term. This gives me the opportunity to connect with my clients and have my finger on the pulse with their progress and with the areas that they are struggling with. I adapt accordingly, which enables me to quickly identify which areas we need to look into. For example, mindset, training or nutrition, and tackle them head on. I then use the tripod accountability system, a triple threat to keep you and your goals held to the highest standard imaginable. That's how clients get results like they do, a 3-tiered approach to world-class accountability. So in order for you to progress consistently and sustainably and actually put yourself first the right way without the stress of having to spend hours prepping meals or spending precious time on the cardio machines, you need the 6 PASTEL pillars. P, pause and prep. Like prepping your classroom, set up your internal environment to stabilise your mind, body and schedule from burnout physical activity. This is where we slow everything down. We strip back the overwhelm and help you set the stage for the new you. Just like setting up your classroom helps your day run smoother, prepping your mind, body and calendar gives you space to breathe again. A, assess and align. Just like formative assessments, check in with yourself. Build awareness, track energy, align routines, affirmation awareness. This is where we reflect, observe and build awareness without judgment. You'll learn to track your energy and foods like data, seeing what lifts you and what drains you, so you can stop pushing through on empty and start living in alignment with your needs. S, scaffold and support. Teachers support students, so now it's time to support yourself. Rebuild through rest, nourishment and hormone-friendly habits. Staff room sisterhood. We rebuild your physical and emotional foundations. This is the self-nourishment phase, and no, it's not about restriction or rigid habits. T, teach and transform. Be both the student and the teacher of your healing. Learn self-leadership, confidence, boundaries and communication. We use the Teacher Fuel Tracker, and this is your empowerment chapter. You learn the art of self-leadership, because when you lead yourself with clarity and confidence, the whole game changes. E, engage and expand. Engage what lights you up, just like engaging your students. Explore joy, identity, creativity, passions, educating emotions. You rediscover the parts of you that exist beyond the lesson plans and late night marking. You expand on the tools that you have learned and developed and take your physique and mindset to the next level. L, lead and live it. Model wellness like you model behaviour in class. Live your new habits, sustain the transformation and rise fully. Long-term learning. This is your transformation in full bloom. We shift from temporary change to sustainable living, and it's time for your graduation call. You'll feel like the woman who owns her mornings, nourishes herself with intention, and no longer sacrifices her health for her job. So now you know that the PASTEL Wellness Wheel will give you an energised, confident, productive teacher in a fun and enjoyable way. And you know the key steps that need to be taken in order to get there. You may be wondering, how do I actually create these habits? Which recipes are best to save time in the evenings? How do I manage my holidays and have structure outside of term time? How do I create this version of myself that I want to become? And this is exactly why I launched PASTEL Wellness, to help ambitious, busy female teachers who value family time and well-being, just like you, to get the dream body and mindset by delivering lessons they love to students that they really care for. Bite-sized behaviours, the most effective and manageable way to add in small sustainable habits without feeling super overwhelmed. What's key at this point is how you build your new habits and implement them into your current routine. I help my clients using the Habit Stacker system, which helps me and my clients to sustain a routine that is actually achievable. Hashtag life beyond the bell. Listen and understand this. Teaching is your job, not your identity. Create a life for you outside of the classroom so that you are switching off from the stresses of work and have another focus and goal to work towards. Then you have your mindset. I love this part. Introducing the emotional ecosystem, the most important piece of the puzzle, which is to thrive rather than survive. Switching from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset where you know you are capable of anything that you set your mind to. By the way, if you want to join me on the next cohort of PASTEL Wellness, just DM me the word health on my Instagram, linked in the description, and we can get to work on the best project that there will ever be. You. The Teacher Toolkit is the way that we create health and wellness systems to turn you from a burnt out teacher to an energised educator. We do this with carefully curated short-term milestones that snowball towards your long-term goals. But essentially, unlike standard online coaching, where you pay for generic programs and have a coach who doesn't quite understand the daily stresses and challenges that you face, the PASTEL Wellness Wheel keeps you on track and consistently progressing towards your goals. We use the app for this. And you might be wondering, Kat, how on earth do I do all of this for myself? And honestly, it's pretty simple. You join our case study cohort of legendary teachers, no moaners or complainers allowed, and become a PASTEL Wellness community member. Did you feel that? Things might have just shifted for you. Shit's getting real, and perhaps it's even a tad uncomfortable. And that is the fear of making change tapping you on the shoulder and telling you to stay comfortable. But let me ask you this, what is the cost of staying exactly where you are? What is the price of coming off this video and not taking the next step? If nothing changes, nothing changes. I've made the biggest leaps personally and professionally when I've made stretch investments in developing my skills and knowledge. Taking the first step couldn't be easier. Just drop me a DM on Instagram with the word help and let me see if I can help you build a mind, body and life that you absolutely love.